Welcome you to the episode series of the Statistical Computing. In today's session, I am going to discuss the measure of central tendency. The topic to be covered are the introduction of measure of central tendency, the characteristics of the measure of central tendency, and their types. Let's discuss the introduction of measure of central tendency. A measure of central tendency is a value that attempts to describe a set of data by finding the central position within that set of data. In other words, we can say it is a way to describe a center of that data set. The measure of central tendency are also known as a central location. Measure of central tendency are often called averages. They are also classed as a summary statistics. The central tendency is one of the most essential concepts in statistics. Although it does not provide the information regarding the individual values in the data set, it delivers a complete summary of the whole data set. Using one value, we can represent the whole data set. It is also summarize the data set down to one representative value, which is useful when you are working with large amount of data. It's difficult to describe a central location of 1000-item data set if you consider every number individually. Central tendency also allows you to compare one data set to another. For example, a sample of girls and a sample of boys of class 8. We want to compare their heights. By calculating the average height of each sample, we could easily draw the comparison between the girls and the boys' height. Let us understand the characteristics or the essential of good average. The first one, rigidly defined. An average should be rigidly defined so that there is no misunderstanding in regards to its meaning. If it is not well defined, it may be influenced by prejudice and the personal bias of the investigator, who makes it the value unstable and condense it unrepresentative of the distribution. Second one, define in mathematical form. With the mathematical form, the formulation of different person may not interpret it differently, and anybody finding the average from a set of data will reach at the same figure. Next, easy to understand and calculate. An average should be simple in understanding so that it can be calculated with reasonable case and rapidly, else its use will be very limited. Next, based on all the observation in the series, an average will be truly representative of the whole mass of the data if it is computed from all the observation. Affected much by the extreme values. A few very small or very large observation not unduly affected a value of the good average. The meaning of very small and very large observation means a smallest and the largest value from the observation. Next, capable of further algebraic treatment. An average should be amenable for further algebraic treatment. For example, if average of two or more sets of data are known, it should be possible to obtain the average of combined group. Next, capable of further statistical computing. An average should have this quality. For example, arithmetic mean is suitable for calculating the standard deviation, else it will not be of great use in further statistical analysis and its utility will be limited. And the last one, a sampling stability. An average should be least affected by sampling. It means that if we consider the independent random sample of same size from the given population and compute the average each of sample in an ideal average, the values so obtained from the different samples should not very much differ from one another. Let us discuss the types of average. There are mainly three types of average, namely mean, median, mode. The mean type further categorized in three different categories, namely arithmetic mean, harmonic mean, geometric mean.
Thank you. We'll meet soon in the next online class.